This week we're reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood, otherwise known as Do You Starfish?
Hi readers, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine Season 2, the podcast where we break down the best and worst fictional heroines of any genre. Because that's what we do now.
Want to see what's next on our TBR list? Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Instagram for a sneak peek at upcoming content or to help us pick our next book. We're going to talk about Bride. Just released 6 February.
We both destroyed it in like the span of days.
Consumed.
It will steal your life. This is
100%.
absolutely a take the book to the bathroom kind of book.
I did in fact do that.
We did.
Yeah, I read this in like 7 hours and nothing else occurred during this.
So I did not read it straight through, and
because you chose to hurt yourself.
Well, okay. Yes and no. I didn't tell you about this part.
Oh, no.
I read, so you know what happens at the 60 to 70% mark of this book? Yep. So
Smut.
I got to that part, and then I'm like, now I'm bored.
Ooh, you were in for a surprise because the smut continues through the whole last 40%.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I put it down for like a week.
Oh.
And then I finished the rest of it last night.
Oh.
So like the
I am
last
surprised.
15%. But I feel like that kind of tracks for a little bit of the pacing.
Yeah, I could see that.
But like you said, major underworld vibes.
Yes. Yeah. This is like a combination of like underworld and like a little bit like Divergent maybe, or like Hunger Games, or like, but it's like modern setting.
It's cool. So it takes place in modern day alternate reality United States, except there's no central government. We have 3 societies living somewhat cohesively together.
Like not well.
Like they occasionally kill each other, but it's,
it happens.
On the surface it's okay. So we got the werewolves with their little pack system. With
the wares. Jordan's eye rolling.
And then we have the humans who are kind of like shoved to the side and seen as like, oh, the little people.
Yeah.
And then we have the vampires and their nest. And you, I think, summed it up perfectly in the sense that the vampire government system is an oligarchy handed down to like the descendants of the like wealthy, powerful businessmen.
So the vampires in this series don't really have any special extra powers. They don't live long. They don't have super strength. They're just, humans, but they drink blood and have pointy ears, which I love.
Pointy ears, purple eyes. They burn in the sun but don't die. They sleep during the day.
So they're just kind of like awkward humans.
Yeah.
And so it's funny that they just like have been surviving through like political machinations. Got it right the second time. And it's just funny because that kind of like tracks for how I imagine the vampires in this is like skinny, kind of just like overly smart, like cynical.
I pictured the cast of the original Gossip Girl.
Yes. Oh my. Okay. 100%. Because that was the other like vibe throughout this.
Yeah.
Is like they're dynamic for whatever reason.
Like a little backstabby, but very, very pretty.
100%. That is the vampires in this. And then the wares are just
they're the jocks.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like strong. They can't live, extra long either, but they're like more strong, more whatever. They have another anatomy thing that we're not going to talk about right now.
If you have read this book, you know exactly.
Yeah.
That is.
Anyways. And then the humans are just, humaning.
They're just being assholes with their guns, which I love that.
There was a lot of gun violence in this, but like also tracks.
Yep. It was, so the world is very believable. And I think I was surprised that Ali Hazelwood was able to jump genres so seamlessly.
100%.
Like, I felt like this was more interesting than her contemporary romance.
I agree, because her contemporary romance is good, but it relies really heavily on the like relationship dynamics. But this was just interesting as is without all of that. But then that made it even more interesting. I was wildly surprised.
Yeah. And I think some reviewers were too. I like to see when people do jump genres. Did you know? Sorry. Okay.
Segue.
You've heard of Nora Roberts, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like she's got 50 million books. It's
Bajillion.
all contemporary romance. Did you know that J.D. Robb is also Nora Roberts?
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow. Wow, yeah. Oh my God.
And I think she might have one other pen name. But so that's pretty common. So they can jump genres without like the misconceptions or preconceived notions of what they're going to be like. But I love that Ali Hazelwood didn't do that shit. And she's like, this is me. And I'm just going to write about vampires now.
This is who I am. But she did it so well. I was honestly really surprised because I was like, maybe this isn't gonna be like, but it was excellent. It felt sexy, but not in the gross weird way, but like in the got it going on, girl.
Like a really slick TV show.
Yeah.
Like well produced. And then Misery is like her contemporary romance leads, but a little bit less focused on the intellectualism that Ali Hazelwood likes to cater to. I mean, certainly Misery is that to a little bit, but she's more, I don't know, well-rounded.
Yeah. I liked how Misery was not removed from her emotions, but like you could tell she's definitely like emotionally shunted. I don't think that's the right word. She doesn't feel things the way that other people do, and it's not because she's really a vampire, even though that's like a cultural thing for them is like emotions are gross. But it was interesting to read about a character like that. Like it was unique and it was done well, and she kind of like maintained that almost throughout the whole book, which is impressive. It was
different,
fun.
Yeah, because from what I remember of, I think Love Theoretically is the one I read. The character is emotional. Yeah. Like she has emotional reactions. And while Misery does kind of, it's very tempered by the like, I'm going to react to this, but not before I process it first internally. And like, that was awesome.
And it's also like asshole reactions too. Yeah. Like she's like, God, these fucking assholes. Like, why am I a person that has to suffer their friendship? Because you're not human, but like human.
Yeah, Misery. We love her name.
Yes.
She was named because she and her brother are twins. We have Owen.
Really? I love
Owen and Misery.
I would be so fucking mad if my parents gave a normal ass name to my brother and I got Misery. I'd be like, bro, what?
Well, and the fucking backstory for Misery too is she was the second twin to be born, and like on the way out she killed her mom, so they called her Misery.
Whoopsie.
Great dad, who we have decided is
Donald Sutherland?
Yes.
But there's also like two other actors that are in the same like triangle of like old snooty British aristocrat man that like he's exactly in the middle.
I wonder if you've made this connection yet. So Donald Sutherland is also the dad from Pride and Prejudice.
Oh,
you did.
Oh my brain is being just I can't even think of a good word. Traumatized, troubled, beaten up by Jordan today. There are too many reveals. No.
Okay, so yeah. So that's the dad. Misery's dad is like the lead councilman for the vampires. He's very powerful, very wealthy, very disconnected from his emotions, like a traditional vampire.
Yeah.
And so he sends Misery, child Misery, to be the collateral, which is a very interesting concept that is established pretty early on in the book, which is in order to preserve the peace between the vampires and the humans, they do a hostage exchange between children of powerful families. Misery is chosen by her dad to go live with the humans, and then they get a human child in exchange. And Misery does not have a great time.
No.
She's like, there's numerous assassination attempts on her life when she's a kid.
She says like up to like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And that's why she's so like emotionally removed from it. She's like, yeah, it was bound to happen again. Yeah. I was like, girl, what?
And then like you caught it early too, is that child Misery potentially has like a suicide attempt.
Yeah. There's like allusions to it. It's not, I wouldn't even really put it as like a trigger warning because it's like handled in a very like illusionary way. But it's like if you see it, you see it.
Yeah.
And so she's just so sad and miserable.
Oh, Katie.
Sorry. Katie. I could not help myself. That they have decided to give her a human friend that she like grows up with. Her name is Serena. And they have the quintessential sister best friend. We are our family and we are codependent on each other. And anyways, we're just going to like live in a platonic relationship for the rest of our lives.
See, and that's what I was confused about when I read this, because I couldn't tell if that was accurate or not, because I don't have female friendships like that, because I didn't grow up with female cousins. I don't have sisters. So it seemed weird like the dynamic between Serena and Misery, as described by Misery, was like, is that how it actually works?
100. It do be like that. Because it's like this weird, like, codependent, like, people have questions of whether you're in like a sapphic lesbian relationship.
That's what I was picking up. I'm like, did I not read the book synopsis accurately? Is this like a lesbian romance? Which is fine because we haven't read that yet. But like, that's the vibe I was getting, which is like
100%.
She's in love with Serena. Serena's gone missing, and this is their love story.
Because it's so relatable. Because I've had friendships like that where people are like a little bit questioning. And they're like, it's like, no, we're just codependent and reside in the same brain.
So on that note, one of my friends growing up, her name is Jo, but her real name is Jennifer. She just goes by Jo. Her family liked to bug her a lot. Like, oh, who are you dating right now? Who's your boyfriend? Well, when your best friend's named Jordan,
she abused the shit out of him.
I was her boyfriend for a long time, according to her family. They didn't know.
I love that with my entire soul.
I'm pretty sure she still does it to this day.
The first love of my life, Jordan. It's like, okay, bitch, I'm right here. But it was funny. Like, I was telling Jordan about it, that it felt really like realistic. Like, if you've had any like close cousins or people that you like grew up with around your age, like some of the experiences that Ali Hazelwood writes is like historical references for them are so like, I was like, how did you read my brain? Like, blast from the past. Like, I don't even remember doing this, but 100%. Like, the dance choreography bit.
Yeah.
I 100% have done this with my cousins. Like, it was just like, wow, that's
and you don't see that described too often in any of the books that we read. Is like these pure, very realistic female friendships.
And I feel like it kind of makes me sad because they like gloss over them or make them feel very kind of superficial. And like I'm immediately thinking of the friendship between the main characters in Sarah Mouse's other book, the third series that nobody like really understands.
Nobody reads.
Yeah. Because the friendship in that is like really superficial feeling.
Oh.
But this is like actual girl friendship where you're like doing stupid things together and like nobody really talks about it, but it 100% has happened. Like the choreography thing, there was something else that they did together that I was like, I also did that. Interesting. Okay. Anyways.
It's funny. So one of my very, very close friends, you know her, our beloved redheaded Scorpio.
Ah, yes.
We like to call each other more than a sister, not quite a spouse.
Okay. Yes. Because that's exactly what their friendship is.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of sad we don't get to meet Serena until the very end, but like there's a purpose to that. So I guess when we open the book, Misery, so she's been living in the human world with Serena. They have separate apartment complexes, and what we haven't, have we talked about the duvet?
No, we have not, but it deserves recognition.
So, like, Misery has been living as a disguised human, and she shaves her fangs down. The first time she did it was with a cheese grater.
Absolutely the fuck not.
God, can you imagine? Like, it just, no. It's like the nails on a chalkboard feeling. No.
Yeah.
And she wears, like, contacts, and she's been working as, like, a white hat hacker.
What does that mean?
It means you work on the good side. So you are trying to protect against other hackers. So you know how to hack, but you're like doing it to protect and like defend against other red hat hackers.
Oh, okay. Because they say it multiple times, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
I feel like I just displayed a little bit more nerd than I wanted to.
That's where it happens.
It's really, it's really fascinating. It made me want to like get into it a little bit more. But she was working for like an IT company or something right now.
It's funny because she immediately has like a not good interaction with some like douchebag finance bro, and I was like, that's also relatable.
Well, and her whole like social circle is pretty limited. She's like, my only friend is Serena. Fuck you, humans. I'm just here to like work.
I just exist.
Yeah, she eats lunch by herself. Like she's kind of got a sad existence, but she doesn't feel sad. She's just like, this is my reality.
Yep. This is just life. Just hanging out.
Which Serena calls her out on.
Yeah. Which I also enjoyed.
Yes.
Because kind of like they had this really horrible argument before Serena goes missing is kind of like where we start off the story with. And the fight was Serena was like, you are not doing anything with your life, which is fine. But it's like you're not like going towards something. You're just existing and just like stale.
It was so hard to read
Yeah.
that Serena I think says something along the lines of, I need you to care about something other than me.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's hard because if you're the kind of like, if you have Misery's childhood and existence where you've basically been abandoned by your family, raised by people who hate you and want you to die, and you only have one person who grows up with you and cares about you, like, one, it'd be hard to trust anyone and create relationships with the other one. And then having the one person you trust and love say, like, I need you to not rely on me so much. Oh,
yeah. Oh. But it's also real because you like you can tell they love each other so much that Serena wants more for Misery.
Yeah.
But it's like, goddamn, woman, like that hurts.
Yeah. Well, and it takes a strong friendship to be that honest. Yeah. So they have that argument, and then 2 days later, Serena goes missing, and Misery knows Serena is missing and like potentially kidnapped. Potentially,
I loved that. I don't know why. It was cute.
Because what happens?
I'm just gonna read directly the line because I even highlighted it because it's such a visceral experience that both me and Jordan have experienced. And then she never showed up to help me put on the duvet cover, despite knowing that it's the single hardest thing in the universe. 100% I would know someone was missing.
Who here still uses a duvet cover?
I did for the first like 4 years of my adult life. And like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Okay, so even harder. So here, you want to level up on the duvet cover challenge?
I don't think I do.
I love my weighted blanket. Love it. Yeah. But you're supposed to use a duvet cover on them.
No.
I tried. Have you ever tried to put a 35 fucking pound blanket in a duvet cover?
Girl, absolutely the fuck not.
I did it. I did it for like 6 months. Never. Ever again. We are at the stage that you're at, which is like a sheet in between the layers, and that's it. That's where we're at.
Oh my God. That's a workout. Like lifting something that heavy above your head because do you starfish into the duvet cover? Oh, apparently not.
I just pictured all 6 feet of you starfishing.
100%. 100%. Yep.
No.
Oh, it is weirdly the easiest way to put a duvet cover on by yourself. You just like grab the duvet and then you get inside the duvet cover and starfish and then pull yourself out.
I put the duvet cover inside out and then I tie the corners and then I flip it. Then I just tuck it over.
Oh, that sounds oddly easier than the starfish method.
Well, maybe, but also not worth it still.
That's
still
fair.
too hard to do on a regular basis.
Yep. And it's just funny that Misery went to the police thinking that they were going to accept her duvet cover, synopsis. And they're like, she could have just left.
Yeah. And not told you because you guys fought, right?
I love the fact that Misery is immediately like looking at them like that. What?
Yeah, she like short circuits a little bit.
Yeah. She's like, nice fucking try, but no.
So it's been like 3 months-ish since she's reported Serena missing. And so she's kind of going to Serena's apartment and trying to put all these clues together, and she can't make a lot of progress. Like she's hacked her phone and her Wi-Fi and all of that.
And that was kind of the fun part too, that she's like, if I can't find like a trace of her, then like I'm worried about the worst because people can't just disappear. No. And that's 100% true. Like you can't really disappear anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for anyone.
So it's just like, oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's at work, kind of doing her normal day, still thinking about Serena. And then in the office, a vampire strolls in. Vanya. Is that how you say her name?
That's how I said it, yeah.
Oh, this is one heartless bitch.
I just love the fact that like the finance dude bro is like talking to her and like chatting her up, and he gets his life eviscerated by this woman.
It was amazing.
So satisfying. She's like, I'm going to like rip your brains out. Like, don't look at me. And he's like, I'm going to find somewhere else to be.
So Vanya is Misery's dad. We still don't know his name. Do we know his name?
You called him Daddy, right?
Yeah, Daddy. He is Daddy in our script. So
yep. Donald Sutherland, Daddy.
It feels a little gross saying Daddy.
That's fair. Yeah. But he has that like aristocratic like you call him Daddy, but he's a dickhead.
Yeah, yeah. So Vanya is Daddy's like bodyguard,
executive assistant.
Yeah, but like will murder you in your sleep kind of assistant.
Like get you a girl that can do both.
Yeah. And so she comes to Misery's office and is like, "Hey, yo, your dad wants to see you at the Nest." And Misery's like, why should I even bother going?
She's like, well, I'm going to drag you regardless.
And so Misery goes and has a meeting with her dad. And this is kind of the kickball session where everything starts rolling.
I love the fact that she set a timer for 10 minutes and she's you have 10 minutes to make your case. And he's like, haha, you don't mean that. And she's like, 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah. Misery and her dad's like banter back and forth. It's like, oh, there is a lot of trauma going back and forth between these. So the nest is where the vampire council and the vampire apartments are. And it's this big skyscraper of a building. And that's where she goes to meet her dad. And then her dad explains what is going on.
You getting married. And she's like, I'm getting what? And he's like, you getting married.
He's like, not in this fucking lifetime, dude.
Absolutely not. Why do you think that? But then he says that you're getting married to the alpha of the wares. We're going to try the whole, like political marriage of convenience thing one more time, even though the last time it ended in like a bloodbath, red wedding murder scene.
He's asking her to be the collateral again.
Yeah, but in a marriage form.
Yeah. And it's so part of the impetus
okay.
for this is that the governor of the human territory that Daddy had a good relationship with
he was a himbo.
Totally. Well, he's getting not reelected. So his successor is this woman who is not a fan of the vampires and is like trying to have more of an alliance with the wares. And Daddy is trying to be like, well, we can't have those two against us, so we need to have our own alliance with the wares, thus this contractual marriage. So Misery is to marry the alpha of the pack, and in exchange, the pack's mate, or the alpha's mate, is going to come live in the nest with vampires.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, Misery says no right away.
She's like, anyways, I'm going to go back to my job. I have to like update my resume now.
Yep.
Except he drops the name of the alpha and it is Moreland.
Moreland. Low Moreland.
And weirdly, Misery's like, well, I guess I'm getting married. And you're like, but why?
Yeah, that's an interesting little
question mark. Like, did you like love him or something?
And then we kind of jump right to the wedding. There's like a weird fade to black thing where it's just, okay, well, she agrees for reasons unknown to us or to the reader. And then we open and she's getting all dolled up for her wedding.
I love the fact that she keeps like talking about this very like pernicious wedding planner who's like, would it be a social faux pas if we had like blood cocktails? And she's like, you do not do that.
We do. No.
We see feeding is like a gross thing you do in private.
Okay. So
I love that.
I love that aspect of like the world building piece with the vampires. They abhor food and like they think humans just eating is the most disgusting unrefined thing on the planet. Like they think like only weak people eat for pleasure. And so they even drink their blood in private because we don't need sustenance. We're like otherworldly.
You just suck down from little blood bags and that's it. And it's even gross to eat from people. Like that's seen as like
yeah. Well, and then there's some allusions to like feeding from people is like a sexual act, which we learn on later.
Just keep that in your pocket.
Yeah. So the wedding.
Yep. I love that she like overhears them talking smack and then it's like an awkward like she hears them but then she's gonna like run away but then it's like oh hello and then they like don't actually talk and then he's at the altar with his back turned and she's walking down and she's like this is not gonna go well and then he like what is that smell and she's like this is super not gonna go well. I love that as a trope. Like
he looks like he smelled straight up garbage. Like he's standing in a dumpster. It's what his face looks like. And she's like, this is not going to go. And then later on, so it's like a blur of a wedding. That's kind of how it felt reading it. At the reception, she's like coming down the stairs. And I think she overhears two conversations, maybe.
Probably. I'm probably misremembering
I don't know. But so she sees Lo, the alpha, talking to his seconds who are like the section leaders.
Yeah,
I guess
like
mini pack leaders.
Yeah, mini pack leaders.
And they're like, she's only catching bits and pieces of their conversation, which you get the same experience as the reader. And they're like, I can't believe you're going to do it. Are you going to do it? But she smells. And then like Misery's in the background, like I imagine her shoulders around her ears, like, I smell that bad.
She's like, this is fine. This is a great start to a wedding.
Yeah. And then that's it. So she thinks she smells like straight up ass.
Yep. Straight up ass. Oh my god. But we also get this cute moment that like you're for sure that like believing that he's an asshole, and then we see a vampire child and a werechild like start crying, and there's a broken toy in between them, and like the parents start like snarling at each other, and you're like, oh no, it's gonna be another bloodbath. And he like walks up all like suave and giant, and he's like, hey, calm down, it's okay, here's your toy back. And he's like, where, kid? Don't fucking touch other people's toys, but that's okay. And then everything calms down, and you're like, I don't know why competence is so hot, but woo.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Lo is because he's described as this massive dude. Like he's huge, but he used to be an architect. That was hot.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like competent, overly large, intellectual. Ooh, I'm getting like breathy.
I don't know why I got like this comparison, but he reminded me of the main dude from Crash Landing on You.
My brain was in the same spot 100%. Yeah.
Because architect doesn't match, but like
but it's the same vibe.
Vibes.
Yeah.
The vibes were the same.
Because he also like had a little bit of a stint in Europe where he was just living his own life. This is like Crash Landing on You, but like the werewolf American version.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad we got the same impression.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Because isn't there is some other like straight up Crash Landing on You moment. I don't remember what it was. We'll probably get to it, but like
I'm gonna rewatch that show now.
I know.
I think I have to.
It's just so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, the bugging scene.
Yes.
Oh my god! Because there's literally a scene straight up where Misery is looking through like a hotel room for bugs, and I was like, "This is Crash Landing on You."
Yep.
Oh my god. Anyways, so he's hot and smart and
everything,
like emotionally available,
but weirdly young. Because Misery is like 25-ish.
I think so.
And so he's around the same age too. Not weirdly young, but like weirdly young for his position of power.
Yeah.
I think is how it's described.
I think they even talk about that a little bit where they're like, where's when they're gonna be the alpha, like from birth. So I think it's kind of similar to like Sarah Maas, Rysand, and
oh yeah,
how it's like which one is gonna be like powerful and challenge the dad, et cetera, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, and then we get another fade to black scene after the wedding reception, and it's just Misery. She's traveled to Were territory. She's at this beautiful, like I imagine, rustic-looking house lodge.
Yep.
Like I
on
picture
a lake,
like Northwest style architecture.
Yep. Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And so she's in her bedroom, which has a connecting door to Lo's room.
Yep. It's locked, but whatever.
Yeah. I loved that she sleeps in a closet.
I do too. I don't know why that was so like quirky. Did you ever watch not Gossip Girl, Gilmore Girls?
No.
Okay, so the best friend, she's super Korean. Her mom is super Christian. She can't like do anything like fun, basically. And so she has made this closet into her like hideaway zone where she listens to like rock music, and there's like a lava lamp, and it's like flashing blue and pink lights. Like that's what I imagine Misery's closet is like, but I think it's just a closet.
It's just a closet. Well, and she sleeps in the closet because there's gigantic windows and sunlight burns her. So it's just her.
Fair.
Yeah, she needs darkness to survive. But when she wakes up after falling asleep in the closet, it's to a child between the ages of 4 and 10 because as Misery has no idea what she's dealing with.
Which also, that's like for real.
Yeah.
Because some kids in that age frame, you're like, I don't know.
Not at all.
And she's even like, are you wearing diapers still, or are you like trained?
And this is clearly like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like,
she's just like standing over her bed like, hi,
I'm your new friend. I have a cat now. So this is Anna.
Oh God. I just love that she like Misery is like, who the fuck are you, asshole? And she's like, haha, you're using bad words. It's like, you don't talk to children that way.
And Misery never stops. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she says it all the time, like right in front of this child. And you're like, oh, I guess, well, I mean, if you're Misery, like you have no understanding of how to interact with children anyway. So it wouldn't occur to you to censor yourself.
Yep. I just love it. It's cute. But yeah, this is Anna. This is Lo's little sister, which we learn immediately.
Half sister.
Oh, yeah. Because that got kind of confusing to me, like
who's who in the
was
zoo.
Fucking who and pregnant at what times.
Yeah. But Anna's kind of like no fear. She's like, oh, vampire, you're my friend. Let me play with your hair.
It's like, what? Okay, I guess my hair is getting braided now.
And Misery is under like 24/7 guard. She doesn't have access to the internet. She's a hostage is how she's being treated.
Yeah.
And then
I honestly don't know what really happens after this, but it's kind of really just them existing and then Anna like inserting.
Emery attacking.
Oh, fuck, that did happen at the beginning, didn't it?
Yeah. So Misery kind of leaves her bedroom like under guard to like go get a snack from like she needs blood. And she runs into a young werewolf who's like looks like he's a teenager, like an older teenager. And he gets all snarly with her like right off the bat, like ready to pick a fight.
Like, your ancestors killed my family. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
This dude has major beef. Misery's like, child, walk away now. And she like tries to ignore him until he attacks her. And then she's like, now fuck this. And so she breaks out her fangs. She shoves up against a wall. And that's when all of the wearers walk in.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. And so she's there holding a teenage wearer against the wall with her fangs bared. And she's like, what I imagine is she's like looks to
like surprised.
Yeah.
Like, this looks weird, doesn't it?
Hi, husband. I promise I'm not trying to kill your dude here.
Yeah. I just like, because even in this moment, she still has that like unemotional air about her where she's like, no, he was just being like a twat. And so like, I don't care what he thinks, but like, I'm not going to let him like assault me. And everybody's like, you can't touch him, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, again, like I was just trying to protect myself from assault. And then they're like, sure, whatever, vampire. And she's like, again, it was just an assault.
So the Vania equivalent on the were side, I forget her name.
Oh, Juno?
Is it Juno?
Juna? Something like that.
Yeah. So she's like Anna's main caretaker and Lo's executive assistant almost. He's got like 5 executive assistants.
Yeah. A busy man.
But like Juno hates Misery and she's like, we need to kill her now. Like our treaty is done.
She was ready to like fight.
Yeah. But Lo kind of like settles everything down, breaks it apart. He's kind of got a better read on the situation. And then like they kind of like settles back down into normal existence.
Oh, because he can smell lies.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. Which is like weird alpha power or whatever, because as I don't want to ruin the like attempted kidnapping quite yet.
Yeah.
But he can smell lies, and then he's like, everything's chill, guys. Let's calm down. And it's like, that's weird. Like,
yeah.
So just keep that in your pocket.
Misery kind of goes back to her room. She gets reassigned a new guard whose name is Mick, who's like a cool uncle.
Yeah.
Who's been through some shit and doesn't want to talk about like the uncle who used to drink a lot, but is like sobered up now.
Yep. Just like sad kind of, but like, hey man, life is fucked up, but you know, I'm just trying my best.
He doesn't have the like ultra hatred of vampires that the other wares do. So Misery's kind of like enjoying her time. Not enjoying, because Misery doesn't really enjoy a lot.
I think she says like he's her best jailer.
Yeah, exactly. So she's just chilling in her room one day. She wakes up in the middle of the day and she goes to like look out of the window from like behind a curtain, and she sees, it was so cool to see someone describe a picnic barbecue from like the perspective of never having seen one before.
Yep. It just felt so American. Like I felt kind of like not embarrassed, but like
like
that is pretty American, isn't it?
Just having hamburgers, chilling on a lake, playing pickleball.
Everybody's laughing and like nobody has a shirt on for some reason.
Yeah. Misery is just watching this like, is this what people do?
Like, this is
gross.
Weird.
And then she's watching this scene unfold, and then she sees Anna, who she's been spending more time with, kind of like begrudgingly so.
Yeah.
And Emery, the asshole werewolf who attacked her, is like luring Anna away from the pack into the forest. And Misery's like, that's not normal.
I like that she has a very like actual person response to this. She's like, is anybody gonna stop that 16-year-old boy from taking this 8-year-old girl into the forest? But like, is no one gonna do anything about this? And she's like, I have to do something about this.
It is the middle of the day. She just woke up. She is barefoot, wearing like a t-shirt, like an oversized t-shirt, and she bolts out of her bedroom. Like, Mick is not anywhere to be seen.
I think they said he's like in the bathroom and there's like a plate of like cold coleslaw in his chair.
And then Misery like sprints out of the house and chases after Emery and Anna. She catches up to them and she's like, yo man, you can't take her. Anna, come back over here. And then
everybody pops out of the bushes.
Right. Literally, yes. All these werewolves happen and they take Emery and Misery is like, what is happening here? And meanwhile,
Okay, so honest to God, the first time I was reading this, I thought that she had ruined a surprise party for Anna. And that's why they were like, Emery was like luring her to the surprise party.
Oh my God.
I was like, God damn it, Misery. And then I'm like, oh no, this is like attempted kidnapping.
Yeah, this is set up. And then while this is happening, Misery is like burning alive.
Yeah.
She's got like what I imagine 3rd-degree burns are.
Yeah.
She's barefoot.
Ooh.
Like, nope, not happening.
Ouchie.
Yeah. So they rescue Emery and Anna. Well, they rescue Anna. Emery gets taken in like custody.
Yeah.
And they go back to the house and they have this like interrogation session.
They have a meeting of minds. Sure.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to question Emery and be like, why are you trying to kidnap the Alpha's sister? Like, this is not cool. Because he's like a child. He's a teenager himself.
I think he's like 16 or something.
Yeah. And Misery is sitting on the couch like, I can help you guys question him, I think. I loved this part.
I did too. Because it's, everybody has that quintessential, like, understanding of, like, torturing someone for information. And they're like, I'm gonna fucking, like, beat your brains in if you don't tell us, like, where you were gonna take Anna. And he's, like, crying. And he's like, I don't know what I was gonna do. And it's like, you could just have a conversation with someone and, like, that would be a lot more effective.
Uh-huh.
And that's what Misery basically says. She's like, how about we just like bypass all that like gross shit and like I just thrall him.
So this is where the almost magic power bit comes in. She gets to flex her ocular muscle or something. So she sits in front of Emery and she's like, you better look at me in the eyes, bitch. And like her eyes start twitching back and forth, kind of like hypnotism, I would imagine. And it puts him into a thrall, is what they call it. And now he answers everything quite willingly.
I just love she's very like casual about it. She's like, I'm not very good at this. Let me preface this. Like my dad can do it like immediately, but like give me like 10 minutes and I'll kind of like stumble my way through it. And everybody's like, you can thrall people? I thought that was like a horror thing. And she's like, it's really not that cool. Like I swear it's just like it's a weird thing.
It's a predator thing that we don't use anymore unless we have to.
It was just like she was so like casual about it and everybody's like mildly horrified.
But it works.
That'd do.
This whole scene serves to like basically free Misery from her status as like a hostage captive to like, oh, you're not a bad person and we think we can get along with you. And so she kind of, at the conclusion of this, her guard gets lessened. She gets access to the phone and the internet and like everything's kind of hunky-dory in the house.
Because we get like immediate little threads of some kind of like sedition against Lo as the Alpha.
Oh, the loyalists.
The loyals or whatever. Yeah, that they were planning on kidnapping Anna to like blackmail him to do something.
Yeah, because Lo overthrew the previous Alpha.
Roscoe?
Yeah.
Who was like unhinged.
Yeah, not a great leader. They had like their Alpha fight. Lo won. Roscoe died. But there are like seditious groups still left to support Roscoe's wife mate thing, who's still alive.
Lady friend.
Yeah. But that's kind of where I think we're gonna stop for part 1.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know what was so fun about this, but like everything up to this point just had like awesome vibes and it was fun to read. And Misery is like such a fun character to be in her brain while she's like thinking through things. Yeah. I almost want to read it again, even though I just read it.
I would say the flow of the book from start to this point is where it hooks you. And like, you just don't stop.
100%.
It's phenomenal.
Yes.
So from our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page. Hi, readers. If you'd like to help us pick our next book, send us a message on Instagram.
Or if you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.
Bussin'.